Hi, this is Dawn Olszewski of DOstampingWithDawn.com, and I'm here with another How'd She Do That video. And today it's another fun fold card. It's actually called a tunnel card, and this is how it opens. Reveals this tunnel with a window, and really it only requires 2 sheets of paper. It's super easy, so let's get started. Okay, so like I said, you only need 2 sheets of paper, and really this was 1 sheet of paper, just cut in half. So 2 sheets that'll end up at 8.5 by 5.5. Now one of them you're going to set aside, and that's what you're going to do your stamping on. Don't do any scoring at this time. The second one is going to create our tunnel and the fun fold. So that you're going to need to score. You're going to score at 2 1/8, 4 1/4, and 6 3/8. Then once you have that done, then we are going to take it to the Big Shot. I'm using my magnetic platform. I'm going to place this here and come in as close as I can. So I'm using the oval framelits, and what I'm going to do, so you can see the score line here, I'm going to line that up. And I've made a lot of these cards, so I've actually put a little mark where the kind of center is on these on my oval framelit. So I'm going to place that so it lines up right on the score line, and then run it through your Big Shot, and this is what it's going to look like then. All right. Now you can go ahead and do your folding. So I'm going to fold this one in the center like this. And actually you could probably use your bone folder at this point. Let me grab mine. And then your end is going to fold into the center of the card. And same with the other side. Okay. And that's how you get that fold. All right, it's essentially an M that we're looking at. And we're going to go ahead and set that aside because now we're going to do our stamping on the other one. Okay, so for our stamping, I'm using a brand new set. It's called Watercolor Wings. It looks like this. It's a 2-step stamping stamp set, and actually it's 3 steps. So there's 3 images that you could use to complete one full butterfly, and it comes in 2 sizes, the small one and a large one, a couple of greetings as well. Also, bold butterfly framelits are the one designed to match this. So it does come in a bundle that you can save 15% on. This only comes in photopolymer. Now, this butterfly here actually matches this shape that came from the butterfly thinlet. So some of you might already have this shape. And that is a bundle with this one that you can save 15% on. This one comes in all 3 of our styles, the wood mount or clear mount, as well as the photopolymer. Alright, so I have done some stamping already. I've done our 2 butterflies that I'm going to use as accents on the card, and I've already cut them with the framelit. So what we're going to do next is we're going to stamp the large butterfly image. Now, that was the first piece that I talked about, that we're not going to do any scoring. We're going to do our stamping first and our scoring second. But you want to have your other piece kind of out, because this is going to help us, almost like a template, to know where we want to do our stamping. Another thing that I like to do to help me know where I want to do my stamping is getting out my Stampin' piercing mat. This is what I like to use for stamping with photopolymer. Now this is just a piece of grid paper. I know that this line here is the center, and so what I did is I figured out where the edge, 4 1/4 inch from each side. So I know this is my center point. I put this right on here, only as a guide for right now. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is we're going to be using these 2 ink pads, And I'm going to start with the Elegant Eggplant. I'm going to stamp my greeting first. And I want my greeting to be in this area here. So I'm going to just kind of eyeball it. Make sure my template's on where I want it. Eyeball it. And then I'm going to pull this away. And that's where I'm going to stamp it. And there, that's perfect. So this is that's actually really perfect. Right in the perfect corner. So next I'm going to stamp the butterfly. So let's talk a little bit about that. It's I'm using all three images from that. I've already have them mounted. So I have, this is kind of like an outer, and this is kind of the whole butterfly, and this adds, the last one, adds some detail. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp this one first, the outer edges. Alright, I'm using the Elegant Eggplant, the same one that I used to stamp the greeting. And I think about right there looks good. And there we go. And then I'm going to use the Wisteria Wonder next. Okay, and then I'm just gonna kind of hover over, you might see my head in the shot, sorry about that. And there we go. Nice. And then the last one, we're going to add some details with the darker color again, the eggplant. Now you could use 3 different colors. I haven't had a chance to experiment too much yet, but I think it would be fun to play with different color combinations. So there we go. And then, let's see, I have his body here somewhere. Here we go. There's a little body area, and I'm going to use the lighter color, or Wisteria Wonder, for that. Place that right here. And then the little antenna on top. Ooh, isn't that cute? I really love the way that turned out. So, like I said, have some fun with different color combinations. Now, you want to make sure this is dry. Our ink dries pretty quickly, but at this point you can fold this in half. So I'm just gonna, this is the Whisper White, it's pretty thin cardstock, so it folds really nicely without being scored. Now why are we folding afterwards? Well, if you're a stamper, you probably realize if you scored here and you stamp afterwards, you're going to have a gap of your stamping there. So this makes it so that you have really nice clean image. So we're ready to kind of put our card together. So you want to get out your adhesive. I'm using snail adhesive. And you want to flip it over. We're going to do one edge at a time. Okay. And it'll line up like this. All the way to the edge here. And then your other edge. I do use a lot of adhesive for this project. You want to make sure, because it's kind of 3D, you don't want it pulling apart on you when your recipient opens it up. And there, we just match this edge as well. And that's how our card, isn't that cute? I love it. So that's how it's going to stand like that. Now one of those butterflies I cut out, I added rhinestones to. You can see that. Now I'm not going to use that for the inside of my card. I'm going to use that for the front. For this one, I'm going to give you some tips on how to attach it. I've put one dimensional right here. So that's showing up underneath here. And I want to talk about how you can position things on top here. You've got to be a little bit careful because you don't want to go over this section. You want to keep it in this section here because you want to be able to close your card without it going off the edge. So we're still going to be able to close our card, not see that here. See how nice that is? You can even fluff it a little bit if you want to. Very cute. Okay, so now decorating your front. Now you can have a little fun with that. And for me, what I ended up doing is I did a little bit of stamping and the new embossing folder. So let me show you how I did that. Okay, so for my front panel, I first did a little bit of stamping with Wisteria Wonder ink onto a 4" by 5¼ inch. And this little dotted border image comes in the watercolor wing set. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this brand new folder. I'm so excited about it. It is called, I think it's called Fluttering. Yep, Fluttering. Now, it's a little bit different. It's size 6 by 6. I'm not sure why. Maybe for like 6 by 6 scrapbooks, that would be very useful for it. And something to think about when you're using this folder is that the images go in a very specific direction because obviously they're butterflies. So the bottom of the folder is actually usually what I call the top, where that fold is. So it's going to go in like this. But something else to consider, at least for what I wanted to accomplish, is if you look very closely, I have the texture here, but I don't have it here. So I really thought about how am I going to do that? Normally what I do is I put it in like this and then I run it through and I know it's not going to come here, but then the butterflies would be upside down. So I thought there's got to be a way I can figure this out. So this is what I figured out. First of all, I have my regular platform in here with all the tabs open, and then I place this in and then I cover it up with the other pad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run it through the folder so here's the stamping. So if you can see how the stamping comes through. Okay, so I experimented a few times and what I discovered is essentially right in the center here is where it kind of presses where the roller is. And so I know that I want to get this pretty close to that, but not over it. So I think that's going to be good. I'm going to try just a little bit further in. So you will have to experiment with that as well. But there's some tips on how you can do that. And if, ooh, it went down, see, I went in just a little bit too far, but we're going to be okay. I still have some, at least, some blank space down here, but it went a little farther than I wanted. So there you go. Next time when you try it, just don't go in quite so far. Okay, so I've gone ahead and added a piece of ribbon to it. This is our Wisteria Wonder seam binding. And we're ready to finish off with our butterfly. So all I want to do is add some of this new metallic silver thread. And this is super thin, fine. It really is thread. You get 50 yards here on that spool. And what I've first done is I've prepped my butterfly. I've added 2 glue dots to it. And I'm going to kind of pull some off and I'm going to roll around my hand. 3 fingers should do it about 4 times. I have found that's about 20 inches. So if you wanted to cut it first, and then we'll just kind of pull it off here. And there is no rhyme or rhythm to this, just kind of pinch it together in the center. And we'll put it here. I don't worry too much about the ones that are falling off here. We'll just go ahead and grab it. That's why you want to use a couple glue dots. And then you can pull it so they're kind of coming off the sides of the butterfly. I like these little ends kind of tucking off here. Cute. So each time I do this, it looks completely different, and that's okay. So next I want to go ahead and put a couple dimensionals. So we're going to put one right over that and peel that off. One right on top. And I found, because I want to put it right here where this bow area is, and actually I'm going to go ahead and bend that, give it a little dimension. Ooh, cute. Ooh, I like my thread even better this time. I don't know if you can see that. It is so fine right there. So I'm really happy with the way that turned out. Adorable. So you would add it to your card like that. And then I did add a few rhinestones. You can see that it's on the butterfly. And then I added 3 more to the card as well. And they fit kind of really nice there, where kind of at the top of the butterfly's head. So there you go. I'm sure your friends are going to be so impressed with that. So let me show you a few others. I have another one here, very basic. Like I say, this is a simple card. It's just the 2 panels. So if you wanted to add some extra on the side here, you could. This uses the sheltering tree. And then I have one here. This is no longer available, this product, but you could at least gives you an idea. I've used some designer paper and a variety of images here for happy birthday, and inside, how cute is that? And I added some sequins, so woohoo, happy birthday. And then here's another one with retired product. This card, the card front, I used at my card buffet. And then later I went, what would it look like if I brought this flower inside? That's what it would look like. Isn't that cool? So you could use, we have a pansy punch that you could use with the flower shop stamp set. That would look nice. This is called Feel Goods, and this is still available. So you could still kind of create a similar card with similar products. So I hope you enjoyed that and have fun making your own tunnel cards. And be sure to stop by my blog for more inspiration. And if you want to do any shopping for Stampin' Up! Products, you can do that at DOstampingWithDawn.com. No, that's my blog. My store is DOstamping.stampinup.net. Thanks.